Clear over. Off to 2 receipt then, switch. L3, 1 receipt, switch out.
Every year there are over 450,000 fires in the UK. More than 1 in 8 happen in London. For 1 month, we followed the London Fire Brigade's investigation teams to find out what caused them.
The job of the fire investigator, like all firemen, is to save life. Whereas the fireman would do it on a practical scale by going in and actually stopping the fire, or getting the people out before the fire reaches them. We would go in afterwards to investigate a fire, find out what caused it, and hopefully prevent that same cause causing any more fires.
The London Fire Brigade has 40 specially trained fire investigators, divided into 4 separate watches and giving the capital 24-hour cover.
We will be called automatically to 4-pump fires and above, to fires in buildings of special interest, all fatals, where a fatal or a serious injury to a brigade member or a member of the public has occurred. After that, we would be called out at the request of the officer in charge if he's unsure.
It's 9 p.m. and Red Watch are on duty. Steve Newman and Pete Banks have been called to a DIY warehouse in New Malden.
There's no members of the public in the place. There's only them.
What time was this roughly?
Again, it's on tape. I should have written it down, but I haven't got my clipboard out yet. So what he's going to do is send them, they're all here, so he's going to send them up. But the chap that was closest to this area of the store, was sort of nearby, he's sending along, he's up by the air control unit at the moment. So I'm going to ask him a few questions to find out what was in the area. He described the sound as a sudden whoosh.
Years ago, we had a tremendous number of fires recorded as unknown. The Home Office weren't happy with that. There was a lot of fires caused by vandalism, and they wanted to try and sort that out. And then there was 1 or 2 very controversial cases where the investigation of the fire wasn't up to the standards that the Home Office wanted. So back in the 80s, it was decided that all the fire brigades would set up fire investigation units.
Both managers locked, they were the last ones to leave their actual stores. Locked up, set the security alarms. Yeah. Didn't see anything unusual on the way out. Both drove home. They both sort of more or less just been home. Right.
Try and get that bit over there in the corner.
Our purpose, first and foremost, is to see whether there's any arson involved. If it's not suspicious, then to try and help the officer in charge decide what the source of ignition was.
He heard a whoosh sound. He was virtually the aisle next to where he thinks it went off.
Yeah, so he'd be able to give us a location and the sort of materials that are in that area.
Yeah, it just went whoosh, and then he said it was like a popcorn sound, popping, a loud popping everywhere.
You was down in the main body of
the fire started here in the paints. It was about 3 hours down in the electricals.
Right, so as far as you know, it started in the paints and you was a bit further away.
Yeah.
Did you actually see anything start or smell anything unusual before it suddenly started?
All I heard was Nigel screamed at me. He said, "David, look, there's a fire." Yeah. I went down to see it in the paints and I just got out.
People think that fire destroys everything, that all the evidence will be destroyed and no one will be able to prove it. A lot of evidence will be destroyed, but there's normally enough to give us some good idea of what's happened.
We found out from the store manager and the security manager that the store was covered by closed-circuit TV. The VCR recorder and the camera equipment is up in the manager's office on the 1st floor, and we found out there's chemicals involved inside now, so we can't have general access to it. So we've committed a BA crew in to try and find the manager's office and get hold of the VCR tape. If that's successful, then the information that could give us could prove invaluable in trying to sort out exactly what happened.
There's debris falling down. The roof's partially collapsed. You're up to, well, a good many inches of water. As I say, I've just filled my boot up with water, getting in there. Tins floating around, debris floating around. You know, you're feeling your way through. And of course, dark in there. Still a lot of smoke, so it's still a bit hazardous in there. Yes, I mean, there's still plenty of hot spots and smouldering. Rolls of wallpaper in containers still smouldering up there. There's still a bit of flame flickering in that part of the building there. Don't quite know what that was used for, whether it was an office or what, I don't know. Petitioned off there for some reason. There's remains of racking of some description along there.
As you walk through the scene, you're looking at the way the smoke's travelled, the burn patterns, how fast the fire burned, looking at everything and eliminating various areas until you can actually pinpoint the probable seat where the fire was.
Fairly clean area. Corresponds to where witnesses say the fire started. So you've got lots of white spirit and methylated spirits, paint thinners. At the moment, as you're coming away from where the seat of fire's alleged to have been, you can see that the actual damage is slowly diminishing. Look at the remains of the stock. I would suggest at the moment the likelihood of someone's been smoking that shouldn't have been, or a member of the public's been through here fairly late on before the shop actually shut or the store actually shut, and possibility of smoking material being left laying around. Or then we've got the third, the likely of a deliberate fire started.
Some youngsters were actually seen running from the building.
Right. Have we got time for
4 to 5. Well, we've got a witness, really, and he's got to be seen.
Right, in
and
view
what he's going to say, quite honestly, I don't know, but we'll have to go around and take a statement from him.
OK, could we leave that to you, to one of your officers, to take a statement from him?
It's not a problem.
Because obviously that puts a different slant on things.
Yeah, it does.
Right.
Two of them had blackened faces, and one of them had something which looked like barbecue lighting fluid.
You're going to be here all the time, are you?
Nope. I'm going home.
So have you got a police officer that's staying on the scene that we can have us contact with? What's his?
The RV pointer's over there.
Yeah.
And
oh, sorry.
There's a Sergeant Kinnell staying on down here. He's going to be the liaison.
OK, so if we need anything, we'll come and find him. Yeah.
Obviously, if we find it, we think it's suspicious, it stops there, it's handed over to the police. If they want help, we would assist them.
The warehouse was completely destroyed. The insurance loss estimated at over £3 million. The fire investigators think it's arson, and there are several suspects, but the police have insufficient evidence to bring charges. Arson causes over £500 million in damage every year. Eight o'clock in the evening and a fire is reported at Moorfields Eye Hospital. White Watch is now on duty and John Neighbour is called to investigate.
With reference to my own job, it's trying to teach people to respect it so as not to cause accidental fires and to catch those people who are responsible or assist in catching those people who are responsible for setting fires deliberately.
Right, that's the other side of the building, is it?
But this is normally our accumulation point, you see.
Which is, perhaps you want to review that, I think.
Well, yeah, depends where the fire is, isn't it, really?
Well, I suppose so, yeah. Perhaps just chock-a-block with fire engines. And so everyone is accounted for, where, outside in various places, are they? Yeah.
The fire is in the sterile supply unit. All 8 operating theatres have been shut down, and the hospital is at a complete standstill.
I only came down here, I think I walked into this department twice before I came to close up the doors. And obviously I'm not looking what's everywhere around. I mean, if I could stir through the debris a bit, I might be able to say, yes, that's such and such, but...
Well, we've come across bits of fabric and bits of fiberglass and...
Fiberglass, yeah, well, that looks like from there, doesn't it?
Got some
yeah,
bits of blue
that's those blue trays, yeah.
There's also, we have...
I can't, it's the light's
Sorry.
not...
light colour fabric.
That's either a nurse's dress, it looks like a nurse's dress, yeah.
It's the same as...
Oh, it could be a chest towel, I'm trying to...
Chest towels.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the pleats. Is that a fold, but... No, I wasn't expecting to see this. Well, I didn't get, I mean, I saw smoke, I thought perhaps it was the oven. I mean, I wasn't desperately frightened, I just shut the door. I said, what I thought, I heard a noise. Barbara Holland was round in the fridge round there, cleaning out the fridge. So I said, oh, I'm just going to go right round the back, then I'm going to close up and turn the lights off. And I said, oh, God, we've got a leak. Because I could hear a funny noise. Obviously, it was the fire.
The crackling.
The crackling. I thought it was water running down. So I said, oh, God, we've got a leak. So I opened the door, only about this much. I saw it black, because I knew it shouldn't be black. I took the smoky like that. I said, let's go, run.
So what really the most likely cause we come down to is that an intruder has been in here and has applied a match to the materials down there. We had plastic materials, we had used gowns, chair covers, bits and pieces that were waiting to go back down to be re-sterilised and packed. So there was no shortage of flammable materials, but no legitimate source of ignition. So we're left with the most likely cause being that somebody has come in and has applied a flame.
Throughout the UK, there are more than 500 deliberate fires in hospitals every year. A fire at a cafe in Hounslow has left the officer in charge baffled as to the cause. North West Area's White Watch investigation team has been called in to help.
Checked round the back, nothing we could break into, took the in front door. Absolutely chocker. BA crews found their way through in the kitchen area at the back. This stuff down here is what we've upped out. There's a lot of plastics in that where they do the buffet, pre-packed stuff and all the rest of it. All right. I'll show you in here.
Lead on, Macduff.
Do we know when the place was last occupied?
Well, the police reckon it would have been shut around about before 5 o'clock now. This area. Loaded up the dumpers, all these bucket cartons, which have all done a bit of melting across, knows what.
Fire is very destructive, but there is normally always something left to give you some indication of what had probably caused it. People tend to perhaps think to use fire as to hide up murders, crimes, whatever. But there's normally enough evidence for us to get some indication of the probable cause. And of course, forensically, there's a lot that can be found under the microscope that you couldn't see with an